Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to Gemini API 101 Part 1. Here, along with I am SAJJAD Rahman. Today's agenda. Well, though it is an introductory part of Gemini API, so we will go through what is actually Google Gemini API, how it works, type of Gemini model, and a comparison between traditional machine learning and large language model. Well, we all know or have idea about the API, application program interface. We know that whenever we want to access something, for example database, so we find the data relevant through the API. We do not need build a database in our own premises device. Rather, we can run this database on any cloud platform. So the API is comes from to the cost effective and make it developer friendly. So same things. What is Gemini API? Well, uh, Gemini uh, has an API like this something. If you think about this after reading the two word Gemini API, yes, you are right. So what actually mean by the Gemini? Well, Gemini is a family of large language model that developed by Google. Gemini is well known for long context window. That means that it can take large number of text as a input. It is also a multimodal understanding. That means that, for an example, we all are familiar with the Chat GPT. Here, it the version of 3.5, it takes input as a text, but now it updated. So in the Gemini API, which actually understanding both text, image, video, audio, whatever it gives the input based on the models, it can understand very well. And Gemini API or Gemini model is available all the Google products and service. So far we assume that the model is very powerful and it can be very heavy as it is a multi model. So who should learn or who have idea about Gemini API? Well, a developer must have to Gemini API if he want to build something with help of Google Gemini. A project manager, also enthusiasm person who want to learn Gemini API or want to play with the API. We know how to access an API. For those who have no idea, uh, then no worry. I tell you with this illustration. Look at this. In the first picture, this is an end user, for example, me or you. So we are writing code here, and the Gemini API, like it is run on a cloud storage in USA, for example. We live in the Asia. So the model itself is need infrastructure, computational power, and also the maintenance cost high. And we know that large language model requires a huge amount of data. If we want to run in our uh, average PC, it cannot be possible. Also, if we buy more and more computational resources like GPU, it will be also not cost effective. So the API is bridge between the connection of a developer and the Gemini. So we access through a web. So when this is a website, imagine through this we can access the all the Gemini model computation power or whatever you have to do. Like you can also, with help of Gemini API, you can run it fine tuning and so on. So what developer do actually? Well, with help of this API, a developer can build a chatbot. We know how chatbot it works. We based on the input prompt, it gives the output, image analysis. As I already told about that, Gemini is Gemini understand multi model. So if we give an input as an image and told him that find the crucial information from the image, it can return easily as well. Also data analysis and name entity recognition and so on so forth. So so far we talk about Gemini APIs, what it is, how we access it, and what developer can do this. But the questions running on our mind is what actually Gemini models or what it is. As I told that it is collection of models. So look at this, the variant one after one. Here is the overall glimpse of the models that we can access through the API like Gemini 1.5 Pro, 1.5 Flash, 1.0 Pro, text embedding, and AQA. So look at more about the Gemini 1.5 Flash. Okay, sorry for the typo mistake. The model code names model slash its name itself Gemini 1.5 Flash. So what it supported data type? Well, we can see that it takes as a input audio, image, video, and text, and return. If we input image, it return as a text. Very carefully look at this. Okay, so the token limit is just over the 1 million, and output token is 8192. Okay, so maximum number of image per prompt 3600, and maximum video length it can 1 hour, and audio approximately 9.5 hours it process. That's a huge one. So as they Google develop their Gemini, and it requires a lot of maintenance cost, so they cannot give all uh, access without payment. So if you want to do more perform, or you are an enterprises level startup, then you can choose the pay as you go, where you can say that the request per minute 1000, and on the contrary only 15 the free user, and 1 million token per minute, where 2 million token per minute is pay as you go. Now look at about the Gemini 1.5 Pro. We can see that it also take input in four type like audio, video, images, and text. Also the output is written as a text, but the token limit it has 2 million, over the 2 million, and the output was same. That was the different than compared to the flash model. And also you can see these things are approximately double than compared to the Gemini 1.5. 5 flash. If we go to the back, just look at this 3600 1 hour 9.5, and here is the double. So you can see that uh, in the free we have found only 2 requests per minute, and the page you go 3 6 360, and we can see compared to the Gemini 1.5 flash, the free token per minute also very less than this. But on the other hand, this one RPD 10,000, that's a huge one, and 2 million token per minute is an pay as you go. So what was the difference between Gemini 1.5 Pro and 1. Pro? We know that 1.0, 1.5, this is the version. So we can see here that the model's name is Gemini 1.0 Pro, and it takes only input, it takes text as a input and output also text. But others two model already we see that the model take input all four types for and output generate as a text. So embedding, well, why we are talking about embedding here? Well, embedding is called a language of LLM for simple understanding. Like we all know that computer can understand only the binary number. So we have different kind of numbers like Roman number, numerical number, octal, hexadecimal version, and so on. But computers only understand the binary format. As when we perform the large language model, for example, we have different languages and articles. So if we train the model also goes to confuse. So it convert all the text into an embedding. That is why we required an embedding model. Gemini API also provide embedding model. And how do we access this model? Model slash embedding 001, and look at this closer. It supported input as a text and output generate text embedding. Others model we see that the output produced as a text. And the last one is AQ, attributed question answering model. Well, uh, from question answering model, we can guess that if we ask any question, then it can return the answer. This is particularly specific fine tune of the domain specialized model. So what does the model input and output? Well, it only take input as a text and output return as a text, but it has a barrier that it only supported English language. So remind this. Well, so far we are talk about different type of Gemini models, but how Gemini models actually built is not the question run in our mind. I'm sure that the question is running some of your mind that how actually Gemini model built. Well, this is a transformer architecture. Here you can see that it has two uh, part. One is encoder, another is decoder, and we are not only to the deep dive into each type and what does it works. Rather, we will go to a brief description. First of all, we give take any input, for example, any text, hello. It then it convert to input embedding, then a positional embedding, and then pass through the multi-head attention, so on so forth. Also in the output embedding, and finally throw pass a softmax, then output probabilities. Well, maybe it make an ambiguous to you. Don't worry, I will explain it clearly so that you can understand easily. In 2017, Google developed a paper. The name is Attention All You Need. Basically, attention means that the word can itself uh, find the relation with the next word with as like it can sense the human language, not AI. So the one thing that basically changed the full cla- traditional deep learning to large language model, and large language models heart is transformer, and this is the actual transformer architecture. So what is LLM or large language model versus traditional machine learning? Why it need? Well, in the large language model, it is an unstructured data, and in the traditional machine learning, it requires the structured data. Another disadvantage is that traditional machine learning cannot take as input long sequence as they can forget, or sometimes it the algorithm cannot process it. That is why large language arrive, which can take any length of input. Also, large language model perform multiple tasks. For example, we can the same model can run for name entity recognition, chatbot, or question answering. But in the machine learning, the algorithm or goal is specific. We can run the model specific for one task. And large language model sometimes it can uh, take input as a book, full book, where ML in RNN we can remind, if we remind that it can take some variable length data, and after the training it also goes to give us that then overfitting or not perform well because of the sequence is not well. Sometimes it requires and high computational resources. So that's all about today's basic Gemini models. So where I find this all the information? Well, first of all, this is the like chatbot. Okay, you can say that I have already or access this interface. So why I do need a build others app? Well, like you are a mobile application developer, so you want to develop a mobile app. Definitely, that's why you need the API, and this is also run through the and API. So we will see how actually find the Gemini API. Before we that, we see go through the AI.google tab. Here you can in the left side you can see that a column is Gemini, a section name especially, sorry. So I included the information from the official site, and it can change over the time, as nowadays every day the world is very competitive and they're trying to develop or updated new version of model. So always look at this. So right now you can see here that we start from here Gemini Flash, and you can see the more information about this and the capabilities, what it can do perform. And you can see that it has three versions right now: latest, Flash, and 0.01. Latest update made to 2024. Similarly, you can see that how do we access the model code, and we can see that this take four type of input but return as a output. And if we look at this, the version, it it has four version available, four type of Gemini 1.5. So similarly like this, we check out this one, the attributed question answering. Its last update December 2023, and this. So if you go through this site, if you want to read it one more and more, then you can find here. So model name, generation, variation, and then the latest or stable. So this is the actually symbolic of this line. It can applicable for any model. So you can see that the available language actually, how many language it can support. And the important notice thing that I already told, that AQA only supported English languages, but if we look at this follow, there is no barrier for English languages. So that's all about Gemini API 101. We will look how do we get an API, how do we run this. We will see in the next video. So thank you.